guys, Virginia here, and I'm back with another 12 by 12 process video for you today, and this one's for the Kitaholic Kits design team using the really super fun July kits. I'm having so much fun with these ones, and Steph has kind of given us design team members a bit of a challenge to kind of focus on some certain items in the kits this month, and one of them was the frames. I did add a ton of frames on my last layout, so I don't actually have, well, I do have some, but this idea kind of sprung to mind for this layout, doing kind of like a giant cluster and then kind of stringing them all together as if they were kind of hanging from one point on the layout, and so that's the direction I'm going for. So I'm scrapping some really recent photos. This only happened a couple of days ago. Eddie was outside playing with the dog, Charlie, and she put her earphones on her and her blanket that she likes to sleep with, Eddie's blanket, and Eddie's earphones on the dog, and Charlie just sat there. She was just lapping up the attention. She doesn't look too happy in the photo, but she was concentrating on sitting super still so the earphones and the blanket didn't fall off, but she just loved the attention she was getting from Eddie. So I thought that they would go really fun with this collection. There's a lot of like kind of music related quirky little things in the Crepe Paper All Heart collection, and lots of pinks and stuff, and of course Charlie's a girl, so yeah, so that's one I decided to scrap them. Okay, so I'm kind of forming my cluster at the moment. I've got one of those crepe paper frames I've stuck on the photo. Another of the photos I've used one of the chipboard frames from the 12 by 12 chipboard sheet, and this one here I'm using some of the pink tulle or mesh stuff that came in the kit. I want to make a shaker pocket, and our tulle is great to make shaker pockets with. I really like it. It's got flexibility and give in it so that the sequins can move really freely, compared to acetate. If you just did one layer of foam, it's kind of, there's a lot less room if you jam pack it with sequins, because there's no give in the acetate. The sequins don't move as freely, but with the mesh there's a lot of give and a lot of movement, so you can just use one layer of foam and they move really beautifully. So I've just gone and adhered that all down, making a shaker pocket, you know, simple basic way to make a shaker pocket, and I'm just filling it with sequins that were from the kit, and backing it on one of the specialty papers that came in this one's kit. So here we go, that's all done. You can see they move super well. The other pink puffy frame I am going to pop on some pattern paper just so that it's backed with something, and I like the idea of this floral. So we're going to do that. This a pink glittery one, I'm just trying to decide what I want to back it with, and I end up with the black and white polka dot. I thought that was a nice contrast, so I'm just popping some tape on it and cutting off the excess pattern paper. And I've pulled out a few tags as well just to kind of bulk it up. I didn't want it to be all frames. Yeah, so I've let that chipboard frame sit and dry. I adhered it to the photo with glue, so I've just trimmed off the excess photo, and now I can kind of start to create my giant like frame and tag cluster. So I want those tags to be kind of stacked up at the top of this cluster and kind of underneath everything, and they're going to be a great starting off point for where everything kind of combines, and because they've got the eyelets in them, and then my frames are just going to kind of fall down that cluster as well, and I'm just kind of layering them on top. In those photos, the two most ones at the front, closest to your eye, and yeah, just trying to get a nice little cluster going here so that you can see bits of everything. I'm quite happy with that. I felt like it did need to come down a little bit more, so I'm just moving that whole cluster down, and then I felt like it was a little bit off balance down the bottom, so I'm just using the cut apart sheet from the pocket page kit, and there was a frame on there, so I'm just going to trim that out. I'm going to gut the center of it as well, and then I've got a nice little empty frame down there, so that kind of balances out that entire cluster I've got going on there. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. I'm thinking, how am I going to combine it all together? Might do some stitching. So what I'm going to do is just adhere everything to the background. Then I know it's not going to move. I don't need to worry about it. So I'm just going to glue it all down. I don't make you watch it all, but I used a bit of glue, tape, foam squares, and yeah, and I felt like with the stitching I wanted it to all kind of meet at the center, at the top, and I thought I could add a couple of embellishments up there as well, just kind of dangling from that top piece. So I'm just going to pencil mark some lines from each of those 4 tags, and have them meet at the top, and then I'm going to just pierce some little holes for my stitching. So super easy. I've just got my little foam mat, stitching mat underneath my paper, and just piercing some quick little holes from those tags to where they meet at the center. Okay, I'll just finish up the last one, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a chain link stitch. So I've picked 4 different coloured pink embroidery threads, and I'm just breaking it down to 3 strands. It normally comes in 6s, and I'm just going to do, like I said, a simple chain link stitch from the top of each of those tags meeting to that top point on the layout. So I'll go through that super quickly. And you guys have all seen me do a chain link stitch before. If you follow me on my YouTube channel, I've done this plenty of times, so I don't make you watch it. It's really simple. So you just kind of go up one hole, back down, loop it through, and then just kind of continue on like that, and then you'll end up with a chain. So you're looping it through the previous 2 strands, back down the same hole, up the next hole, and just continue looping. So there we go, I've got my 4 lines of stitching. I did kind of loop that thread around the tops of those tags as well to make it kind of look like it was really holding those tags, and I needed something to kind of combine it all together at the top. So I've just gone and grabbed a bow cut file. This is one from my shop, and it's a new one. It comes with a little gift box cut file, but I just wanted the bow, so I'm just quickly cut that out of one of the pattern papers from the kits. And I was going to use the like ribbon ends that come with it, but I decided not to, because I really wanted to dangle one of those little tassels and some other things up there, so I don't end up using it. But there we go, we've got a little tassel, adding some texture and creating kind of another little mini cluster up there, a pair of sunglasses, and I think it's all that end up hanging up there. I do pop a puffy sticker up later on as well. So because I've got some kind of chunky stitching going on, I'm just using some glue dots to adhere it all in place, which is super easy. Glue dots are great for things like this. And I wanted to get on that word nope, because of Charlie, how she's looking. She's like, nope. But she enjoyed the attention. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start to add some other embellishments. Now I'm going through the die cut packs. We've got a flower. The stem of it was a bit too big and awkward to stick anywhere, so I've just cut that off. Just kind of trying to find bits that I think will work. I go through the cut apart sheet again, because I did remember there were a few things on there that I like the idea of bringing onto the layout. So we've got a little heart speech bubble that I'm just going to fussy cut out, as well as that rainbow piece that you'll see sitting on top of the photo down there as well. So fussy cut them out. I'm just going to find a spot for them. They're just adding pops of colour, pops of interest, and breaking up those harsh lines amongst those frames and stuff. I'm going through the 12 by 12 chipboard sheet now, and I pulled off that record, well, it's just a record, isn't it? And pop that down. Again, that's kind of breaking up those awkward shapes. I'm going to add some stars. I did put on that word obsessed, but I didn't like it. It was a very bright yellow, and there wasn't a lot of other really bright yellow. Well, there wasn't any bright yellow really going on the layout. So I've pulled that off and replaced it with that little girl power chipboard piece, and just popped that over the bottom of that pink glitter frame. I didn't like the date spot that was on the bottom of it, so that covered that perfectly. I'm going through the 6 by 12 sticker sheet, and I do pull off a few things like the bird and some little random bits and soda bottles and soda can, and these string of lights. And at first I really liked the idea, but then I felt like everything was it was taking away too much from the cluster, so I do end up taking it off eventually. It's the same with that bird and that little soda can. Didn't quite make it, but the little stars that I've added do stay. I'm just going to quickly go through the Heidi Swap sticker book. There were a few bits on there that the sentiments really worked for this layout. So like that little speech bubble, I've just popped it on some white cardstock and fussy cut it out, so it's so fancy. So I've popped that on the photo. A few clear stickers. I'm going to add 3 down the bottom. One says hilarious and then a couple of other things, but I do end up having to take one off because I trimmed down my cardstock and I inevitably cut the sticker in half, so whoops. Never mind. Another little speech bubble here as well in the same colour as that so fancy one, so I'm just popping that on my cardstock because the stickers are clear, and then popping that on the other photo, and I just move that other little fussy cut piece out up to by the rainbow. The little string of lights comes off the layout, and I do find this pink camera which I liked. It's kind of more pink, more that silver, so I'm just tucking it up on that photo. I do end up moving it so that there we go, the ribbon of the what would you call that, strap of the camera hangs over the tag, just so it's not kind of floating there. So I'm just going to finish off my title quickly. It's going to be Nope, just Nope. Using the thickers from the kit, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue everything down because I'm really happy with how it's looking. So just using a combination of glue, ATG tape, foam tape, and I'm going to come in with some finer little details in the form of puffy stickers. Just kind of scattering them around. Another record, a little heart, a little lock, just random little bits and pieces. A couple of flowers I'm going to add in as well. That little record player as well I've popped on, and I really like that. It's all looking really good. I'm going to add a few silver sequins just around those stars where I've scattered the chipboard stars and sticker stars on the layout. So just a little dab of glue, pop the sequin in place. I love sequins for scatterings of embellishments. And I wanted to frame the entire layout with something, and I was umming and ahhing between these 2 pinks, and inevitably I go with this one with the little hands on it. I did not mind that you couldn't tell that they were hands. So I'm just going to gut that pink pattern paper. I'm just leaving an inch border around the edge. I had a bit of trouble with my trimmer. I'll get there eventually. Just leaving an inch border, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim 1/4 of an inch off each side of that green paper that my layout's on. I think I've knocked my camera at some point along the way because my angle's gone a little bit skew. Never mind. So I'm just cutting 1/4 of an inch off there, and I love my trimmer. It goes through some pretty chunky stuff. There we go. I've ended up cutting that sticker in half. And it does it just fine, so I'm really happy with that purchase. Okay, right, use my ATG tape just along each 4 sides, pop that green pattern paper on top. If you don't push it down, if you just kind of sit it there, you can kind of wiggle it around until you get it in place. And there we go, press it down. Some sprinkling of some white Liquitex acrylic ink just around where those stars and sequins are, and then that's pretty much it for my layout. So I hope you enjoyed the process. If you want to check out the kits or anything in the shop this month, there's a link in the description box below. But until next time, bye guys.